Politics in ride sharing, operating as an Uber or Lyft driver in the Biden era versus Trump. Had someone ask this in the comments, so I figured I'd respond to it. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim with another ride sharing video. For many of you that follow the channel, you're probably aware that I also do political live streams, generally featuring my favorite audience, MAGA, even though I lean left. We keep the conversation civil. They're highly uncensored, so folks do get to speak and state how they feel. I believe folks should be able to speak without fear of being blocked, banned, or censored, because at the end of the day, silencing someone does not change what's in their hearts and minds. Sometimes it's best to speak out in the open and we can come to some sort of middle ground. Nevertheless, here is the comment I received on my previous video mentioning that I do believe in regards to carrying a defensive tool on you, you should keep it hidden. For obvious reasons. Passengers don't like seeing guns and mace and knives in a vehicle they're riding in. But here is the comment that we're going to respond to. In regards to hiding weapons, why are they? Isn't Bidenomics and all his great policies making America great and safer than ever? So in other words, this sounds like some sarcasm coming from someone that's not really a big fan of Biden and asking, isn't things supposedly safer under Biden? Isn't the country better off? Now, I will tell you right off, being a rideshare driver off and on since 2014, I got a host of years in data samples to compare it to. So, tell you right off the bat, I don't think there's anyone in ride sharing, any veteran driver, that'll tell you it's better driving under the Biden administration than the Trump administration. But is that something whereas Trump should receive credit and accolades for? Depending on who you ask. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because I don't personally believe most of the benefits that drivers encountered has anything to do with who's in the White House. Now, obviously, gas is a huge expense for rideshare drivers. Under the Trump administration, most of his year's fuel was a lot cheaper than most of President Biden's time in office. Now, we could talk about the pandemic and things like that, but the majority of Trump's term saw fuel prices cheaper than the Biden term. But is this some sort of sign that you're better off driving under a Republican administration compared to a Democratic administration? I would submit to you there's no way in hell that this alone is enough to factor in. As I stated, I've been driving since 2014. Trump did not get sworn into office until January of 2017. Remember, he won the election in November 2016, officially sworn into office, taking control January of 2017. That means I drove 3 years under the Biden administration.
Obama,
the second
not
term
Biden,
of President
Obama
Biden.
administration.
Some of you folks go back even further than 2014. I don't think there's anyone that would suggest driving under the Trump administration was better than the Obama administration. So why am I going all the way back? It's to simply show you that it doesn't really matter who is in the White House. It has been the goal of Uber and now Lyft as well since day one to get drivers to drive for cheaper and cheaper rates. If you were to show ride sharing on a graph, and I believe the Forbes article with Sergio did just that, it'll show you the rates for driving has been continually getting worse since it really started, with the exception of the pandemic, which created an unnatural situation. I started driving in my market at $2.20 a mile. There was not one period during the Trump administration where I was receiving that. So the numbers continued going down from Obama to Trump to Biden. Now, let's assume Trump gets back in office. There are some things that could make our experience a little bit better, once again, if gas prices were to come down. However, gas prices are no longer that bad anymore. I don't know if we're going to ever see $2 gas again, but there's plenty of places that are paying less than $3 a gallon right now. So perhaps he could maybe cut the price of fuel 20-25% for those folks who believe the president controls gas prices to begin with. But let's say, for shits and giggles, the president can bring down fuel prices. You're not going to see $1.50 gas under Trump. It's just not going to fall that much. It's in the twos, most of America. Feel free in the comments to state how much is gas on average in your market. With the exception of California, perhaps Pennsylvania, maybe the New England area like New York, and of course Hawaii, most other states are not paying $3 a gallon at this point. So in Chicago. So let your boy know in the comments, what is the price of fuel in your market? The other issue, obviously, is inflation. Under the Biden administration, the price of a vehicle has skyrocketed. If you take out a car loan, the interest rates are sky high. So that obviously would pertain to us drivers. However, you don't switch cars very often. 3-4 years, most rideshare drivers, 3 or 4 years, you're getting a different car. We don't make enough to switch them any sooner than that, but we do switch them more quickly than the average consumer. In ride sharing, you're going to probably go through a car 5 years max, particularly if you're driving full time. You're doing almost 100,000 miles per year. If you can get 4 or 5 years out of a car in ride sharing, driving full time, you're doing pretty good. But interest rates, fuel being the biggest one, may change under Trump. But in regards to suggesting that, ride sharing was awesome under Trump, when we know it went from Obama down some to Trump and even down even more under Biden, shows what the actual problem is. It's the ride sharing companies themselves. Fact is, neither Biden nor Trump is trying to regulate the gig economy. The Biden administration are starting to make some changes, maybe to the point where we don't like, such as trying to deem us employees and things like that. But on the right side of the aisle, the Republican side of the aisle under Trump, they favor deregulation, small government, not a lot of oversight. That works well for Uber and Lyft because they don't want to tell you any damn thing. They don't want to give you transparency. They don't want to let you know how you're paid. They don't want to let you know how to even figure out what you earn per trip. Without government oversight, you'll never get that. And under the Trump administration, they're not going to be for government oversight. They're for small government, states' rights, and things of that nature. So financially, I don't see how ride sharing would be better under Trump than it is under President Biden. To get more money, I've said it on numerous videos, what you're going to need is government oversight. The highest paying markets in America, like Seattle, that's due to government. Didn't come from a strike, didn't come from less drivers on the road. It's because the government forced the companies to treat us right. Same thing in New York, now that they've implemented a minimum wage for drivers, even giving them a week off or something like that, paid time off and sick leave. Only from the government. Now that's in the independent contractor 1099 world. But even in the W-2 world, you think the corporations would treat the employees right if the government wasn't forcing them to? You think you would get at least a week's vacation? You think you would have a minimum wage, unemployment insurance? You think you'd get any of that if it was optional for the company? Without government oversight, you're fucked. I tell passengers this all the damn time. Uber and Lyft are a perfect example of what corporate America would be like if the companies were not regulated. How many lies have we caught Uber and Lyft telling that were detrimental to the driver's income or even the passenger's safety? It damn sure has been detrimental to our safety. So I don't see financially how you're going to do much better as a rideshare driver under President Trump. Now, that's not to say that if you went into a different job, a different industry, a different profession, you may do very well under Trump. I'm just strictly speaking from the aspect of a rideshare driver. Continuing on with his comment, now he also asked in regards to Biden's policies at the end, safer than ever. Once again, I would start out by questioning, can the president make America safer? Personally, I don't really know how safe, for the simple fact that certainly Trump is a fan of states' rights. So if a state has a violent city in it, like Chicago or, New Orleans, Louisiana, if you believe in states' rights, then you believe it should be up to Illinois, the governor of Illinois, and the governor of Louisiana to get those violent cities under control. How is the president going to do that? And even though it's in the comment, it's worthy of addressing because presidents do run, particularly Trump, on promising to make America safer. Remember the Black Lives Matter riots of 2020? All that happened under Trump's watch. Did you feel safe? I don't know what any president, not to ding at Trump, but we're talking about the country, folks feeling unsafe under Biden. Ride sharing wasn't safe under Trump. Some of the stories I covered, I've been doing videos long enough. Carjackings, robberies, and rapes were happening under Trump too. So most likely the individual responding in the comment section, and I do appreciate all of your input. I trying to get to responding to all your comments. I get a lot of information coming through, but just to show appreciation for your inputs, I'm starting to make an effort to respond to as many comments as I can. So feel free to submit your questions. The input is always appreciated. But in regards to this individual, I do believe they're just, someone who does not like Biden. And there's a lot of legitimate reasons to not like Biden. A lot of legitimate reasons to not like Trump or any commander-in-chief for that matter. But this individual is suggesting that, do we feel safer under President Biden, as if somehow the president could make you feel safer as a rideshare driver in your particular market? I just don't see it. But let me know in the comments, where am I getting it wrong? Perhaps you do favor driving under Trump more so than either Biden or Obama. Maybe you do believe a conservative administration would be better for rideshare driving. If so, let your boy know in the comments. We can hash it out. And for you folks who do enjoy political commentary, as I stated earlier in the video, you can test the waters of what we do here by simply clicking on the live content on this page. All of my shows are listed there. Simply yours truly, speaking generally to a MAGA audience. There's liberals on the program as well, but let your boy know in the comments. As always, smash that like button, and I'll see you in the next video.